And we are live across Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And I'm Simon Haig. It's 4:30 p.m. in Europe, and it's morning across America and North America. And I'm delighted to be joined by three very special people, my three partners in Inclusion in Leadership, otherwise known as InclusionInLeadership.com. And first up, Nigel Sonori. Well, Nigel, maybe if you can introduce yourself and what brought you to Inclusion in Leadership.
Hi, Simon. Well, hi, everyone. As you recall, just over a year ago, the four of us got together and really wanted to lend our experience in diversity, equity, and inclusion to help those businesses and clients interested. Just for the public's sake, three of us, Elizabeth, Way, and myself, are beneficiaries of a diversity and inclusion program well over 20 years ago, and we have remained fast friends since then. Elizabeth introduced us all together to you a year ago to also talk about diversity and inclusion. So it's not just that an issue that we care about. We've lived this experience, and we're leveraging that experience to really help other businesses and people looking to really lead up in that space.
That's great. And Wei, my next partner is Wei Eng. Wei, maybe just a little bit about you and why are you a part of this partnership, this exciting partnership?
So I guess I hopefully contribute some of the pragmatism to the team.
You keep us in line and controlled. I think.
I've spent over a decade. We'll just leave it at that in planning and finance, and over the past 2 years, given all the transitions in the business place, from the pandemic to all the social changes and so forth, I see that there is awareness and a need to really explore operational transformation that includes inclusion and leadership, not so much as something that replaces additional functions, but as expansion of the workplace. And I think a lot of companies and organizations will find suit that if they apply it and examine it correctly, they can move forward and really strive to get better performance from their teams, their organization, and accelerate their growth. So that's essentially where I'm coming from on this.
Perfect. And last but definitely not least, Elizabeth Suarez. Elizabeth, what about you?
Hey, Simon, it's great to be here. Thank you for including us. So my thing is that, you know this, Simon, my vision has been, after spending 15 years in the management ranks of corporate America, is that I want every decision table in any organization and any corporation to look like the market that organization serves. As we all know, that is not happening. Mm-hmm. So this is why I joined forces with the three of you, and I am hoping we get closer to that as we continue to work together. So with that, now I'm curious to know, Simon, why did you join this team when I asked you to join?
Well, as you know, Elizabeth, I spent some time in Australia, and I spent half a decade working with Indigenous communities. And so as a white executive, I had a real eye opener around some of the challenges and some of the struggles and some of the things that people from my background have really no idea about. And so that was the first side of things. And the second side of things is just being pragmatic about it. We live on a planet 50% male, 50% female. We also live on a planet that is not just a white planet. It's a very heterogeneous planet, and there are so many opportunities for all of us. And I guess the third thing then is from a business perspective. I'm interested in seeing how businesses can grow. And those businesses, there have been plenty of now assessments and tests from the likes of McKinsey's and Brand Finance. Those businesses who put inclusion at the top of the agenda, in the middle of strategy, see increased productivity, improved brand value, and if they do the right things, improved profitability. So it's an emotional thing, it's a pragmatic thing, and it's a business thing as well. So yeah, so that's why I'm part of this, and it's a privilege to be involved.
So now I'm curious. Now that 2022 is around the corner, what will 2022 need to see from leaders in terms of their inclusive mindsets and behaviors?
So I think there are 6 core attributes that I think inclusive leaders need to demonstrate, and this comes from their mindset, and they need to demonstrate this through the behaviors. The first thing is relationship building. Don't assume that relationships will just form. I think the best inclusive leaders need to be very, very intentional about this, and notice the quietest person in the corner, notice the person that feels like they're being excluded, and be very intentional about being, contextual and intentional about building relationships. The second thing aligned to that is recognition. Recognize people, recognize everybody, and be very pragmatic and be very proactive about that. The third thing is empathy. Of course, empathy is understanding your own awareness, but really putting yourself in the shoes of other people. The fourth thing then is building trust, social connection, and don't assume that it happens, because all of us know, those old networks, those old white male networks, most of the time, they go back to form, and then they form an exclusive barrier. So you have to be very intentional to build trust and social connection. The fifth thing then is encouraging participation. Encourage as many people to participate. For me, that's why I got involved, was in inclusion leadership, was finding a way to give everybody the same opportunity at the starting gate. And then finally, alignment. It's about looking to see how organization can align and make sure that everybody is cohesively involved, not just from a DEI perspective, but how do people from remote offices get involved? So it's those 6 factors. Building on that, in 2022, how do you think organizations should manage performance and productivity in a transformational hybrid world?
Just to piggyback to what I think, everything you said is absolutely correct. And I think within the organization, it is essential to create this, to not put inclusion as a separate function or initiative within the organization. It has to be integrated with the strategy, operations, and growth. And I think that is where we should be seeing more progression in inclusion in the workplace. I think a lot of organizations have recognized it and say, okay, let's build a function of inclusion. And a lot of it, many of it has been into creating social initiative, bringing awareness to the employees, but it doesn't drive performance. And the next piece will be to say, how does this drive performance in the marketplace, in the workplace, and in the investment arena? So how do you drive higher return on investments? So that is the next level of driving inclusion and really integrating it into the workplace.
Perfect. And just building on that, Elizabeth, in 2022, what will leaders need to do to ensure future leaders, so those coming up behind them, are sufficiently mentored and supported? What do you think they need to do?
I think they need to do 3 things, and I call it education, empowerment, and guidance. The first one in education is, I believe the leaders today need to invest in the future leaders. This means your professionals that are ages 25 to 45 in your organization right now. Give them leadership development where they know how to better negotiate, where they know how to be an effective communicator, where they learn how to self-advocate, where they figure out an action plan for them to go forward. Then once you educate them like that, empower them. Go ahead and give them that challenging project and see how they do, and get them a mentor so the mentor could guide them as they're going through that project. And while they're doing the project, you as a leader, you're guiding them. You are calling them out when they're doing great, and you're calling them out when they need some improvement. This is the only way that you do it. We have to go back to how the athletes do it. This is not just visualizing. This is actually educating them. This is guiding them, and this is empowering them, making them do it. And then you will not have churn. You will not have that great resignation that I know a lot of organizations are living right now. You do that, I will guarantee you those employees and professionals will stay and grow with your organization.
That's a perfect and powerful answer. And then finally, Nigel, in a virtual or hybrid world, what do companies need to, what do they need to have to do? What do they need to do in 2022 to quantify what we've discussed here? What do they need to do to quantify this stuff?
That's a great question. Hard to believe, but just 6 months from now, we will be marking the 2nd anniversary of this social call for integration, just 6 months away. Organizations really need to step up and show what they've done. Now, part of what we've done collectively is really structure ourselves in a way to help clients from a assessment standpoint, from a strategy standpoint, communications, organization revamp. In other words, a holistic approach at the business of diversity and inclusion. What was your objective? Milestones, metrics, all of these need to be in place, because I guarantee you 6 months from now, you're going to hear, we're not quite where we should be, but the patience will run thin. People are watching. And again, if you're serious about this, there are steps to take. Like I just mentioned, our website will cover these, but we can help businesses get there. But there is a proven approach that yields those quantified results that you're looking for.
Perfect, perfect. So Nigel, how do people reach out and connect with us? What's the best way to do that?
Sure. As I just mentioned, we've got a website, InclusionInLeadership.com. We are going to be periodically having forums like this where we're available. We're on LinkedIn. We have emails, contact information. We're all on LinkedIn. We have on Instagram. So we are going to be a lot more accessible, and we hope that you also will reach out to get in touch with us, and we'll be more than happy to share our thoughts and perspectives with you.
Perfect. Well, that was short and sweet, guys. And I think what I'd like to do is if we can just collectively say goodbye to 2021 and say hello to 2022 and wish everybody, a happy and safe new year. And we're going to be back talking more about these things. And I think the three of you will agree, we're not going to pull punches. We're going to be very honest about some of the things, because I think we have to be very disruptive. So I think that's what's ahead for all of you folks, and we'll see you in 2022. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.